Hello students! You have learned about refraction through the lens, glass slab and prism. We saw how all of them are different. In a lens, all refracted light is either converged onto a point or diverged. While in a slab, refraction happens in such a way that refracted and incident rays are in the same direction. The emergent ray is parallel to the incident ray here. They remain parallel to each other just as if they were on a different path. This shift from its original path is known as lateral shift. This is because the refracting surfaces are parallel to each other. So the refraction at the first interface is nullified on the other interface. In case of prism, it is not so. Here, the refracting surfaces are not parallel, and hence the refraction does not nullify each other. In fact, it is such that rays bend from their actual path in certain direction. The directions of the incident ray and the emergent rays are opposite. And when extended back, they meet at a point which is nothing but an angle of deviation. It gives how much light has deviated from its path. However, in all of these, the main reason behind the refraction of light is two different media. Yes, absolutely. When light enters from one medium of lesser density to another medium of higher density or vice versa, it bends. We have learned about how much the velocity of light will change, how much the ray will deviate, or how much it will bend depends on the density of the object. The greater the deviation, the thicker the medium is. In simple words, how much the speed of light changes or how much it bends depends on the refractive index of that medium. So till now we have seen objects like slabs, lenses or prisms whose density is uniform throughout the medium. And hence the amount of bending or refraction is uniform. But what if the density of the same medium differs in two different places? That is, in the same medium, two different refractive indices are there. In fact, multiple refractive indices are there. Will light bend the same way? Isn't it interesting to solve this puzzle? Yes. Can you think of any such medium where at different points the refractive indices are different, even though the medium is same? Let me tell you, it's nothing but a layer of air around our Earth. Air near the Earth's crust is relatively cooler. So the atoms of gases are very close to each other. As you know, on cooling, matter condenses. So air particles also condense and the density is higher. So let me explain this to you. Tell me, what exactly is density? To put it simply, we know that it is nothing but the number of particles in a unit space. So now consider three states of matter: solid, liquid and gas. We can see that in solids, particles are tightly packed. So there are more atoms in this unit space as compared to liquid and gas, and thus the density is maximum. While in gases, particles are far away from each other. So in the same unit space, the number of particles is less as compared to other two. And so the density is minimum. Now something similar happens to the hot and cold air as well. So coming back to our discussion, cooler air near the surface has closely packed particles. So the density is higher. As we move upwards from the ground towards space, the air gets warmer due to the sun's radiation. And as we know, the lighter air rises up and the air molecules gradually move away from each other. That is, the air becomes thinner as the density decreases. Thus, as we move from the Earth's crust to space, the distance between the two atoms of air also increases. The air becomes thinner. As a result, the refractive index of air gradually changes. The part of the atmosphere where the air is thin will act as a rarer medium and its refractive index will be lower. And the part of the atmosphere where the air is thick will act as a denser medium and its refractive index will be higher. So students, I hope now you realize that even in the same medium, there can be difference in refractive indices. But yes, the difference in this refractive index is very, very small. Here, the physical situations of refracting air are also not steady, like it is constantly changed by winds, clouds, water droplets, or suspended dust particles. So the light constantly bends, and thus the apparent position of the object also fluctuates. When the light comes from the sun, it travels through a vacuum. We know that in vacuum there are no particles, so it is a rarer medium as compared to Earth's atmosphere. So now can you tell me how will light bend here? Will it bend away from or towards normal? Yes, you are right. As the light enters a denser medium from a rarer medium, it bends towards the normal. Since the density constantly and gradually increases from higher altitude to low altitude, that is, when we are traveling from high in atmosphere towards the Earth's surface, and the air gets thicker and thicker, and thus the light keeps on bending like this till it reaches the surface of the Earth. This phenomena is known as atmospheric refraction or the refraction of light by Earth's atmosphere. And this leads to many phenomena like the twinkling of stars, early sunrise and delayed sunset, scattering of light, etc. So think about why stars twinkle and planets don't. Why do we see sunrise a little earlier than usual? Or why do we see the sunset a little later than usual? Well, think about it. We will see you in the next video.